And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We're talking the BTCC CROFT. Finally, it's been a while. It's been a bit of a hectic week, so massive apologies there. But we're going to talk about the British Touring Car Championship and, well, the championship, how that looks after what was an action-packed weekend at CROFT. So we're going to get it into a bit, but Tom Ingram's race 1 win, it was a good, it was fairly good. It was good in qualifying at Oulton Park. That was the 25th win for Hyundai. They now level with Nissan and a Volkswagen, and that's from inside BTCC. Moving on, Dan Rowbottom, he wins round 17 of the 2025 season, and it was race number 2. He did really, really well, soaking up all that pressure. Well done, Dan. Next up, we have the 20th birthday present for a certain Deleon. That 20th birthday present was
race.
A podium, and this is what he's got to say.
A lot of pace, but we had to change tyres on the grid because there was an issue on the outlap, so had to be really, really mindful of my rear left tyre.
And I'll tell you what, when you got to change it on the grid, I mean, you're on the grid, you're about to go racing. The bank pistol is about to go. That's pretty much the last thing you want. So fair play to Deleon. The fact that he got a podium as well, kept his head, being so young. We criticised him again last year, but this year is a massive, it's like a 180 change, partly because of the car, and I think partly because of his maturity.
Tyre especially, of course, punctures in the past, so pushed a lot at the start, made a few places up, and then when I was in third and had a bit of a gap to the cars behind me, just sort of preserved it a little bit really, because the last thing you want to do is keep pushing flat out, and then all of a sudden, when you're leaning on that rear left, which is the worst tyre for this track, when you're leaning on that rear left, the last thing you want to hear is up. So just backed off a little bit and brought it home in third place, so really, really happy with the result. Third place podium on my birthday weekend, and I'd just like to say a massive thank you to WSR.
I mean, that's brilliant, isn't it? On his birthday weekend, third place, and to be fair, WSR, in spite of obviously the success there, the success of Brands Hatch, I can't help but feel they're having one of their worst seasons for a while. And as we mentioned, going into CROFT, it was a certain Colin Turkington, the absence of Colin, and he wasn't even at the races, was he? Which was a massive weird thing. I still don't know the reason why. When Jake Hill decided he's not going to race because he's ill, he was suffering from some kind of vertigo, being really, really dizzy. And I tell you what, going around a racetrack, I can imagine that, or a roller coaster at somewhere like Thorpe Park, is one of the last things you'd want to do with that. So moving on from Deleon, we've got a this is a Senna Proctor. His 150th BTCC race and his first podium of the year at essentially what is his home race. Let's have a look what he had to say, shall we?
I didn't even know it was my 150th race until I came off and someone told me for the podium. So great way to celebrate the 150th BTCC start. I've had a few years out off the grid, and to come back and get a podium is what we've been trying to do for the past few meetings. So to do it now is great, especially my home track and all my local sponsors and supporters here. A lot of pressure. A lot of people here this morning. Very frantic morning. I was very nervous, but I was trying to brush it off like I wasn't.
And if you've got to remember, this guy, he's not done a whole season either, has he? He's kind of like plotted in just before the the beginning of that second half.
For me, it was just a case of, once that safety car came out, was keep my cool and just manage the gap to Dan and just do my job and bring it home. I didn't even know it was my...
Well done, Senna Proctor. Ash Sutton, though, he did wrap out round 18, and even 116th, takes his 5th win of the season after a puncture. He had a puncture in the opening race. That saw him drop to the back of the field. But he still ends up being a race winner, what was an absolutely amazing race. This guy, he has consistently really good performances. And at the moment, if they both had equal cars they're happy with, who would you pick, Ash Sutton or Ingram on the day? You've got to wonder, haven't you? They are so close. But I think in terms of racing and being able to pass, I'd give it to Ash Sutton. Having said that, I think Tom Ingram is one of the best guys at defending. So Sutton wins what they consider a barnstorm, and it absolutely was, in one of the most incredible BTC races in living memory. You can watch it now on YouTube. They've got highlights of the races, and they have like a 1.5 hour video session on YouTube as well. I think ITV BTCC if you type in, and then type in CROFT 2025, and you'll find it. And yeah, just watch it. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. This guy is absolutely amazing. One of my favourite photos of the race weekend. I always still think those little cups are funny. not little cups, but they're those bottles, and there's obviously Mr. Proctor. And a really good weekend. This was what Ash Sutton had to say.
It's been. So yeah, to come
and it was.
That result in race 3, to take them points out of Tom, it was crucial, but it was a typical race 3, that's for sure. There was a lot of argy-bargy, yeah, even I was caught out with a few bits. But the move for the lead sort of really was an opportunistic one. Made the most of someone else's situation, but at the same time we did pick up a little bit of damage there with the contact we had with Gordon. So yeah, it was nursing a damaged car home, but we managed to hang on. We had a few leery moments, but we turned the day around and got the win. Yeah.
Well done, Ash. It was absolutely amazing. This is, for me, other than Sutton's win, this was one of my favourite moments. It was Conegate. Here we go.
I think how Charles Rainford got in touch with the Cone hotline. He was squabbling, as you can see, with Nick Halstead.
What are the chances? What are the chances? You can't even make it up. Look, just the way it hits perfectly. There we go again. Look, one more time. Look.
As you can see,
there's the cone on the side. Donk.
You could not have done that in a movie. I'll tell you what, Luke Littler would have been happy with that one.
Oh, that's fantastic. You know, not even CGI, but it could have been. Max Buxton also, well done to him, scoring on his debut at Croft, which I think is good. I mean, we had our doubts. People were saying team nepotism, the Lance Stroll or the touring car. Yeah, it's maybe a bit unfair, but you scored. You got to be fast. You got to be someone good. So 8 points though, and it's just 8 points split Tom Ingram and Ash Sutton in this championship. I mean, who knew? Here are the results here for the race. Race 1, obviously, Tom Ingram, Dan Camish, Senna Proctor, well done to him. Then Dan Rowbottom, Tom Chilton, Dow Deleon, Aaron Taylor-Smith, Charles Rainford, Dan Lloyd, and Adam Morgan are in that top 10. Now for race number 2, we had Dan Rowbottom, well done to him. Tom Chilton, nice as well. And then Dow Deleon getting that podium. Adam Morgan, Ash Sutton coming all the way pretty much from the back to 5th. I mean, that's amazing. Charles Rainsford, Gordon Shedden in 7th, Tom Ingram in 8th, Aidan Moffat in 9th, and Dan Camish in 10th. If you remember Tom Ingram doing really well in the first race, the top 3 have to start on those hard tyres, and I think that's interesting. You might turn around and say manufactured racing, yes, maybe, but it gives racing, and it gives other people, it does give other people, you know, arguably a chance, and you know finishing in the top 3 you're going to be on those hard tyres. So Ash Sutton though winning that final race, fantastic, isn't it? Tom Ingram in 2nd, Senna Proctor in 3rd, and then he had Gordon Shedden, Adam Morgan, Aidan Moffat, Sam Osborne, Tom Chilton and Aaron Taylor-Smith. Now when we look at that championship though, they're separated not by much at all. So we've got Tom Ingram on 273, Ash Sutton on 265, 8 points, 5 wins for Sutton, 3 wins for Ingram, 7 seconds for Ingram, only 2 seconds and 3 thirds. I mean, yeah, Ingram's been more consistent in top of the podium, but wow, it's going to be between these two, isn't it? I mean, when you look at Dan Rowbottom in 3rd, he's 195, so you're looking at, you know, quite a few points behind, but you can have an absolutely, I mean, say for example, Ingram and Sutton have an absolutely horrible weekend, and Rowbottom wins 2 out of 3 and gets a podium. Suddenly he's right there, isn't he, almost? The same you could compare with Dan Camish. In terms of Jake Hill, he's 100 and something down. Not impossible, but I think he's pretty much out of that championship, isn't he? Sadly, if I'm honest. And Charles Rainford, his teammate, is not too far from him either, on 106, you know. But yeah. So when we look at the Manufacturers Championship, it's Alliance Racing Ford, just about beating Hyundai. BMW very much 3rd, and Toyota, well, they're not going to finish higher than 4th. But as I said, one of the worst seasons for BMW. Teams Championship, slightly different-ish. Napa Racing on 475, Team Virtue on 472, LKQ Europe Parts with WSR on 265, and Restart Racing on 229. So not too bad. And WSR 138, but that's slightly different there. It's a bit weird that, you know, the team independent. So we've got Mikey Doble leading by just 8 points, kind of like the big championship. Dan Lloyd and Josh Cook. I think any of those top 4 could potentially win. A lot depends with Josh Cook on what's happening with One Motorsport though. And as we know, Stephen Jelly is obviously 6th, and he's moved, hasn't he? And Nicholas Hamilton, not last, he's in 7th, isn't he? So well done to him. Sadly, no Max Hall. Obviously, you know, he's left. Now, when we look at the Jack Sears Trophy, we have Dow Deleon leading that, which is fantastic. Charles Rainford, Sam Osborne, James Dorlin. I think it's going to be one of those. Dexter Patterson, possibly, but I think it's going to be one of those 4 there that are looking very much favourite for that. Last but not least, the Goodyear Wingfoot Award in terms of qualifying. Tom Ingram's winning the only Justos. Dan Camish in second, not Ash Sutton. Is that because Ash Sutton's now leading the championship and he always gets punished? But we know Ash Sutton is so good at racing. But there we go, just 8 points then in between those championship contenders. If you like what you see and you made it to the end, thank you. If you are not subscribed, please consider that subscribe. Hit that like button as well, if you will. That'd be lovely. That'd keep me smiling. But until then, we'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much for watching, because that's all you need to do to give us a smile. And stay safe.